weighed in over the limit at 170 pounds. Also a veteran of 15 fights, his record equal with 14 victories, 1 defeat, 10 wins by way of knockout from Schoenbeck, Uzbekistan. Fighting out of Indio, California, here is Bek, the bully, Melikuziev!
Okay, gentlemen, both received your instructions in the dressing room. Obey my command at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Hair on up is good. Hair on up is good. Touch gloves. Thirds out.
Melikuziev's team said, listen, he's gotten so much more patient. He doesn't throw wild punches anymore. However, sometimes under the bright lights, he gets distracted, loses focus, and becomes like a bull. They don't know what he's going to do. As for Stevens, he promises to match fire with fire, saying, I hope that Bek tries to bully me. Let's see what happens. This is our co-main event. Should be a good one. Melikuziev and Stevens.
Should be a good one that starts off fast. David Stevens has 6 first-round knockouts, and his lone loss was a first-round knockout.
Yeah, and that first-round knockout 2 fights earlier against Joshawn James, he got reckless early on, and he got caught, and he couldn't figure out how to survive after getting hurt for that first time. So I think this first round is going to be very interesting.
And this is the first fight against a southpaw for Stevens as well. So he's going to have to adapt with a fighter that has a lot of amateur pedigree, fighting like a southpaw with that international style and the power of Bek the bully.
Melikuziev loves to go to the body. He has debilitating power in the left hand.
Beautiful jab there by Bek right now. I mean, both of them are trying to fence right now, trying to find a way to get in that front foot with a southpaw unorthodox fighter. It's a battle for the jab too. So whoever's jab is on top of the other one's going to dominate.
So back-to-back fights for Stevens that only went a round. He got knocked out in round 1 back in October of last year, and then won by a first-round knockout in June of this year.
With that right arm down, Melikuziev is making it easier for Stevens to land that jab. But they're confident coming in with that jab.
Ooh, little ballet for Melikuziev.
Now there you see those footwork issues with the southpaw and the orthodox.
Saw a little bit of that in our last fight between Fundora and Alaniz.
You know, Sergio, a lot of times you see fighters using body shots to set up head shots. Bektemir Melikuziev is kind of the opposite. He uses head shots to set up those body shots, where 40% of his body shots land, his power shots there.
Yeah, and he's a vicious body puncher when he does go down there. A lot of his knockdowns and knockouts are because of the body. And there's his first left hand right to the gut of Stevens. That's going to set up more shots upstairs, but I love how they're pivoting away from each other. Bek the bully is more of a boxer than a banger. Everyone thinks that he's just a power puncher, but once he starts shifting and pivoting and boxing like that, it's beautiful to watch.
He doesn't look like he'd be that coordinated, does he?
No, he does not. But see, that's the thing. Oh, beautiful body shot by Bek. It's because of that Olympic Uzbek style of boxing. You know, they're boxer punchers.
Good jab there from Stevens.
In big games, anything can happen. So preparation is key. Anticipate the flashpoints. Analyse every detail, even the height of the centre-backs. Only then can you predict more than 8 corners.
Nice one, Gary. You can get the bill then.
New Impact Sub prepares you for those unexpected player subs by keeping your bet builder running for longer. That's proper value from William Hill.
Watch. Every time you combination, move. Combination and move. Chin down. Right, huh? Okay. Okay, snap both sides of the chin. Now I'll move to your right, okay? All right, okay. Sorry. Don't stay up.
Round 2. First round seemed to go Beck's way, but Stevens more than holding his own. Does not seem to be intimidated, which we can't say about a lot of Beck's opponents.
No, it looks like he's following the game plan too. He's keeping, like I said, those elbows tucked in, the hands up. When he jabs, he's jabbing with confidence. Like he has the right game plan.
Looks like he's got a bloody nose now, Bektemir.
Good shot by the bully right now.
Beck kind of got backhanded there by Stevens. Little MMA move.
Well, I'm with you though, Sergio. We've seen Beck show good footwork, but tonight he's been on a different level.
They want them. They want him in this corner to use footwork. They asked him right now in the corner. It's like, everything's okay. Yeah, calm down now. Calm down. Go back to jabbing. Go back to doubling the jab. Set everything off that, and then of course use your footwork and angles. Use the entire ring. Let Stevens run into something. Stevens is vulnerable down the pipe, especially with straight right hands. But because Melikuziev is a left-hander, he's gonna have to find another way.
Bektemir fighting now with the right hand low.
He's been doing that, giving Stevens a chance to jab his way in. And Stevens is doing the right thing. He's not aiming at the chin of Melikuziev. He's aiming at the shoulder, just keeping that arm at bay to line up a straight right hand.
Stop. Listen to me now. Box.
Ooh, downstairs again from Melikuziev. And Stevens just keeps going right back in the line of fire.
And there you go. There's the whole Beck the bully. The guy loading up on shots and making himself vulnerable to right hands. It only took one round for Beck the bully to resort to what he used to be.
Stevens is more than willing to exchange.
Absolutely. Stevens told him that's what he wants. He wants Bully to fight aggressively, coming at him, going for his head. That's going to set up Stevens for something big.
And Melikuziev's only been past round 4 times. So Stevens might be thinking, hey, I'm going to try and make this guy throw as many power punches as I can to tire him out a little bit.
Watch your feet.
And he knows what he studied him. Stevens studied.
Oh, he caught him with that left hand. Right as Stevens was about to make a move.
Stevens was telling us, I studied so much Melikuziev, I got tired of seeing him on Facebook, on YouTube, watching his fights. But right now, he's standing his own. Melikuziev's being patient, and he's best when he's on the outside, looking up for straight shots.
Clubbing shots as we count down the final seconds of round number 3.
Keep them hands out.
Ronnie Shields doing what Ronnie Shields does. Excellent instructions, motivating. David Stevens telling him exactly what he needs to hear. Stevens said that, you know what, I lost that run. He goes, no, you still landed some good shots. The game plan is there. I love what I'm seeing and hearing on the corner of David Stevens.
Chris, are you loving what you're seeing and hearing?
Hey, you've got to take boxing more seriously. You've got to be more focused, or else go find somebody else. Go find another trainer. Picked up that first round knockout, and Ronnie believes this is the best of David Stevens that you're going to see.
24 years old, from Reading, Pennsylvania, began boxing at the age of 11 because he kept getting in fights on the street. Said he needed some discipline in his life, and he found it in the sweet science as he lands a right.
They said they had the best camp they've ever had. He's been on weight for some time now, and he had great sparring. So no excuses on the corner of Stevens. He's holding his own, but he needs to actually start enforcing himself. He needs to start bullying the bully on the back foot. Back him up with some offense.
And I can't believe I'm saying this during a Bektemir Melikuziev fight, but I'd like to see more body shots from Melikuziev. Most of the stuff we've seen through 2.5 rounds has been upstairs.
You think there's a reason for that, Sergio?
Well, because Stevens has been, holstering that right hand down the pipe. See that right hand that he just threw at the chest right there? That's what Beck's watching out for, because if you're going in and loading up on body shots, you're going to be open for the straight shots.
Beck is trying to catch him coming in.
And to that point, Sergio, I'm still, even though we're several fights removed from the loss to Gabe Rosado, I'm still in the back of Beck's mind, getting clipped with that counter right by Rosado is still a memory.
It still resonates, yes, yeah. Absolutely, because anytime you get hit like that and knocked out brutally, it's always going to linger and stick around with you. And when you start getting hit with some shots, you get shell-shocked. It regresses you to what you felt before. Not only the embarrassment and the pain, but you start doubting yourself.
Beck's trying to use his head movement, but Stevens has clipped him a couple times and is having his best round.
Well, that's what Ronnie Shields is asking for. Throw that jab 2-3 times. That's what Stevens did.
Stevens got power, behind that jab. 10 knockouts in 14 fights. I mean, even that shotgun jab, if he's landing it right on the money, that's going to do some damage on Melikuziev.
Yeah, you can see the damage has been done to the face. Blood coming out of his mouth. Nose is swelling up. Caught him with a jab again.
See that power jab right there? That's not just a jab. That's a straight power shot. A shotgun jab by Stevens. And I love that little dipping move. He stays down, and he doesn't pick himself up to get hit with anything solid. He stays down and pivots away, staying in front of Melikuziev.
No knockdown. No knockdown. Okay, stand up. No knockdown. Give me the thrust. Watch yourself, guy. Stop with the bell. Stay back. Time.
On November 9th from the city of brotherly love, it's a championship doubleheader featuring undefeated pound-for-pound stars Jerome Boots Ennis and Bam Rodriguez.
Watch the rough house, okay, guys?
There's that jab, keeping Beck on the outside. Those were power jabs that I was talking about earlier. Those are rangy jabs, just keeping Beck at bay. But notice that right hand, Todd, I keep talking about it, right on the chin. Waiting for the bully to come in recklessly just to land down the pipe. He may not be winning every round, but I like what I'm seeing. I'm going to repeat it. I like what I'm seeing from Stevens so far. A hesitant Bektemir Melikuziev so far.
So round 4, Stevens coming off a pretty impressive performance in the third. Let's see if he can keep that momentum going. And there's some of that bully work, but you know what? Stevens is not having it, Sergio.
No, he is not punching. He's punching on the break. If the referee's not saying nothing, don't let Bektemir clinch. Don't let your opponent try to hold on. You punch in between the shots. You bully the bully, which is exactly what he's doing in this round.
Chris Mannix is in Beck's corner with Antonio Diaz.
Antonio, what do you want to see from Beck?
Well, I see him throw a little more uppercuts, a little more steps to sides. I don't know why he's staying there too long, but he's still at the beginning of the fight. So,
what do you think Stevens is trying to do to him out there?
I mean, Stevens trying to catch him with the overhand right. I think that's all he's doing. That's why he's trying to protect that body shot and catch him with the overhand right. So we try to get away from that overhand right.
Thanks, Tony.
Is that what you're seeing, Sergio, that Stevens is trying to set up the overhand right?
That's what I've been saying, but I don't think it's an overhand right. I think it's a straight right hand. And the way you get Stevens to bite on that is you got to foot feint more. You got to let Stevens throw that right hand and then use it against him.
Boy, this has turned into a pretty exciting back and forth scrap here in the 4th round.
Yes, it has, because Stevens is not intimidated by the power or the aggression of Melikuziev. He's just controlling everything with that stick. That long jab, the power, the timing, and the good footwork on behalf of Stevens.
Oh, nice power jab from Beck as he glides past him.
You know, something to remember as this fight picks up. One of the reasons that this fight was contracted for 170 pounds is because it was made about 4 weeks ago while Beck was on vacation. Like, he was away, came back from Europe to get back into training camp. So there could be a question about the conditioning of Beck if this fight goes deep.
You see the total punches through round 3. Stevens with the advantage. There's a left connecting for Beck. Stevens showing that he's got some good footwork too.
Now, I thought it was interesting, Sergio, talking to Stevens, like, hey, how much did you watch that Rosado fight? You know, what Rosado did. He said, I didn't watch it at all. He said, I don't want to see the worst of a guy getting hit with what he termed one lucky shot. I want to see the very best of him.
Yeah, and that's what you want whenever you're facing an opponent. You don't want to study tape of the worst of them.
No.
You want to see what to expect on their best night.
Short right hand on the inside from Bektemir. Up next, it is our main event of the evening. There's the featured attraction, Floyd Schofield, nicknamed Kid Austin. How much of a contest do you think this will be tonight for this 22-year-old?
I guarantee it's going to be a tough fight for the 22-year-old. I think Schofield, he's overlooking him a little bit. He was overconfident when we spoke to him. I don't think he's getting the respect that he demands. So it's interesting because there's a little bit of overconfidence. We talked about him being a new father and him not getting sleep and rest. We're going to see if that's going to come back to bite him or if he can shine on the big stage like he's been shining.
See, I disagree a little bit on the overconfidence, Sergio. I think his dad might be a little overconfident. I think every time his dad picked up steam and started talking about Tank and Shakur, Floyd made sure to bring it back to Renee.
Obviously, that was from a few minutes ago as you saw David Stevens hanging out in the background of that shot. But Floyd,
you also saw Rodney Shields, who's in the corner of David Stevens right now.
So, needless to say, Floyd is good and warmed up by now. And this fight is really heating up. Sergio, I think you thought Stevens won that fourth round.
It was a competitive, but yeah, I gave it to Stevens. I mean, I just like the way he's controlling and dictating the pace of the fight. Good shot.
Left there from Stevens coming in. Let's see how Chris has it scored.
Yeah, I've got it 2 rounds to 2, 38-38, even up on my scorecard. I thought Beck won the first 2 rounds pretty clean. Third round, that was the best round for Stevens. And like Sergio, I just edged that 4th round to Stevens. So all tied up in the first third of the fight.
Yeah, because Stevens controlled like 2 minutes of it and landed some good shots. And Bully tried to steal that round. I just don't think it was enough.
Counter left there from Bektemir Melikuziev. And another one. Sniper shot. But I agree, Chris. I haven't seen a lot of body work from Bektemir. At least not what we're used to seeing from him.
There was a good body shot there by Stevens on the inside. Nice left hook.
There's one.
Ooh. Man, Melikuziev just missed with a home run right hook. Stevens didn't even see it coming. Went right in front of his chin. That's the thing about Stevens, man. He's vulnerable to shots like that, especially when he's in the fight. He doesn't avoid an exciting gunslinging type fight. That's what makes him vulnerable, his toughness.
Well, he knows if he can handle Beck's shot, then Bektemir's going to have to handle his punch because it's coming right back at him. A very close competitive fight, and the CompuBox stats back it up.
If Stevens is going to continue doing this and attempt to win this fight, he's going to have to check the tough guy in him. He's going to have to box and fight in spurts.
But Sergio, this is the heaviest I've seen Beck breathe this early in this fight. In this 5th round, his mouth is wide open in there.
And look at his face, Chris. Blood now coming off of a cut over his left eye.
Left eye, bloody nose. That's the impact of those jabs, those power jabs of Stevens. And I've been talking about those jabs from the first round, guys. Even though he's not, swaying and swinging these rounds easily in his favor, he's landing good shots. That's all that matters. The investment is there.
And I don't know if the cut's in the exact same area as it was in his last fight, but it was the left eye against Pierre DeBaume. The cut had that fight eventually stopped.
It was the left eye they got cut against Alantez Fox as well. So that's just old scar tissue, opening up.
Nobody knows old scar tissue like Sergio Moore.
I got cut too many times, man.
Hey, interesting comment from David Stevens. He said, listen, guys, I'm a notoriously slow starter, so it might take me a few rounds to get cooking. Well, we're here in the 5th, and David Stevens is cooking.
There he is. Good shot there. Good check hook there by Melikuziev.
Cut from a headbutt, okay?
Come on. Então muda aí o ground. Back don't stay inside.
And the clash of heads, you see it all the time with the contrast of styles with a lefty and a righty. So that was a totally accidental headbutt right there. But when we're watching Bektemir Melikuziev fight, every single fight seems like there's a headbutt now, because he smothers himself, he goes over his front foot, he doesn't keep his range, and he just gets over aggressive. It's only a matter of time for those old cuts to open up, and that's going to become a hazard moving forward in his career.
Sun's out. Box.
Sergio, which fighter would you rather be right now as we head into round 6?
Even though Melikuziev, I have him winning, I'd rather be Stevens right now. I like the look in his face. I like the game plan. I like the punches he's trying to select, and he's not the one bleeding here, guys.
Oh, there's a left from Melikuziev, but to his credit, Stevens showing an iron chin. We're starting to see that raging bull side of Bektemir, aren't we, Chris?
Yeah, you're starting to see that physicality, the old Beck, start to come out here. Because, look, I think he understands, 12-round fight, it's going to be tough for him to stay in this for 12 rounds.
Both these guys are breathing heavy, and there's a lot of fight left. I mean, we're still in the first half of the fight, and both these guys breathing with their mouth open, and their punches don't have as much pop as they did in the earlier rounds.
I still wouldn't want to get hit with one of those lefts from Bektemir, especially to the body. There's one.
A little bit more of a rhythm here with these 1-2s from Beck.
There's a body shot from Stevens, and now he's backing Melikuziev up.
It's a good fight. It's an excellent fight. It's the type of fight where, Stevens could be losing, he could be, getting hurt, but he can come back with one shot and get the respect and demand the respect from Melikuziev. The bully's going to have to be on his toes and watching out the entire fight, no matter how comfortably ahead he is. And I love the fact Stevens is digging down to the body of the bully. Body punchers don't like getting it back to the body, man. They really don't. Melikuziev has knocked out and hurt a lot of people to the body, but you return the favor. Some of the best body punches in history, that looked like Superman in there. Once they started getting touched to the body, they realized that they had a weakness there too. Golovkin being one of them when he got hurt by Derevyanchenko.
Sergio, you're seeing Beck these last couple of rounds kind of coast for a little bit. Starts out fast, but when he runs out of energy, you see him kind of moving around the ring a little bit, trying to sort of recharge the batteries mid-round.
And look at his mouth wide open, breathing heavy. Melikuziev is breathing heavy, guys, and it's not easy. It's not safe for him to be breathing with his mouth open like that. A sweeping left hook could break that jaw easily.
On the bell. Time.
I see you. The Sphere in Las Vegas. That's pretty gross, actually.
Yeah, it is.
That's the best they could put up.
The iris, the cornea.
Headbutt, yes.
All right. Now you sound like a 7th grade textbook.
That's 2 more parts of the eye than I thought he would know, to be honest with you.
No way.
Don't forget the pupil. All right.
Come on. Yeah. Need more Jorgen, champ. More Jorgen, champ. More Jorgen. Jorgen works. Use his book. We need more punches, guys. Come on. Let's go. Here, come on.
Stay right there. Go back a little bit.
Round 7. And Sergio, although it appears that Melikuziev is breathing heavy, mouth open, he's still been very active, throwing a lot of punches.
Yeah, and that's the reason he's winning this fight. Even though Stevens has his moments, there is confidence in his corner. Melikuziev is is landing the better shots, and that's the reason I think he's ahead in this fight. But yeah, it's one of those fights where anything can change with one punch. And if you bet the under, you probably lost already. I expected this fight not to last too long, but credit to David Dynamite Stevens, man. He came with a game plan, came prepared, and everything his trainer Ronnie Shields said is coming to fruition. This man's in shape and ready to win.
Now, a moment ago, that was a pretty good body shot from Beck, kind of a strafing right hand to the body.
Power punches through 6 rounds. Stevens has been hit with 20 more than Melikuziev. Can Melikuziev keep this pace up, though, for another 5 rounds?
Stevens should start concentrating to the body and start taking even more of the wind and the conditioning and the legs of Melikuziev. This could be a tight fight coming towards the end.
Box.
Good counter left there for Melikuziev.
The body shot there by Stevens on the inside.
Yeah, and he's giving it right back to Bektemir on the inside.
Yeah, digging down on both sides of the body. Melikuziev now trying to hold on now.
It looked like Melikuziev was trying to maybe have a little rest moment. Stevens refused to let that happen.
He's been doing that last few rounds. Midpoint of the round, he's kind of coasting a little bit to kind of recharge.
And you can see the body language of Melikuziev, at least right now. It seems he's getting a little more loose, isn't he, Sergio?
He's been loose, but I think there's a little sway and confidence, going inside of Stevens. Even though Melikuziev is fighting tough, he's just fighting tired now. The technique is starting to fail Melikuziev. That's the reason
big shot from Stevens.
That's the reason he's getting hit with those shots right there. Mouth wide open, falling off balance.
Melikuziev has never been in a fight like this. Yes, he's been knocked out by Rosado from a punch from the heavens after Rosado had been dropped numerous times. But a back-and-forth, brutal fight like this, Bektemir's never seen before.
I would love to see Stevens dig down to the body with the right hand and come up with the right uppercut. We're talking about him and him being a Mike Tyson fan. He needs to take a page out of Mike Tyson with that right hand and right uppercut.
That is Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We'll be there in 2 weeks for Zurdo Ramirez versus Chris Billiam Smith. That's the headliner for Latino Night. CBS, they call it.
Suitable, they call the other guy.
Lefty.
That's right. And look at that. Sharp punches right there. Nothing special, not overloading on the power. Just clean 1-2 by Stevens right on the head of Melikuziev. And we're wondering what's causing the redness and the blood to come out of Melikuziev. So he's not getting hit with big shots. It's clean shots that are doing the damage on the inside.
Well, so much for our promises of the under, huh? Just when you think you know what you're talking about, you don't. We're in round number 8. A very close battle between Melikuziev and Stevens.
I noted between rounds there, the first half of the fight, we had Antonio Diaz in the ring as the chief second. Now, Joel Diaz operates, I believe, also as a cut man for Melikuziev, but he was the man in the ring, and he was pretty vocal in between those last 2 rounds, trying to fire up Bektemir Melikuziev.
Let's look at Chris Mannix's scorecard through 7.
Got it close. 67-66 in favor of Bektemir Melikuziev. I thought Stevens did enough to squeeze out that last round. Both these guys are just winging power shots at this point. I think it's going to come down to conditioning over these final 4 or 5 rounds to see who's going to get it done.
Conditioning and technique. Right now, the technique is on the side of Stevens. He still has those hands up, the elbows tucked in. He's still doing the responsible thing when he's loading up on punches and even missing. Now Beck fighting with his hands down. The legs are slowed down a little bit. He's falling off balance, and that's giving him a chance, giving Stevens a chance to counter him with something big. Good counters right there to Stevens, to the body. Even though they didn't land, I like the idea that he's going there. Good body shot there by Melikuziev.
Chris Mannix is in the corner of Stevens.
Ronnie, what are you seeing from David?
You know, look, it's a good fight. You know, I think David's winning, but Becker's a dirty guy. He's doing everything he can to try to take away from himself. But the referee, you know, I don't know, the referee not calling a lot of stuff that Becker's doing. But you know, I like what David is doing. You know, it's a close fight, but I think David is ahead.
What does he have to do to win these final few rounds?
He got the pressure. He got the pressure and go to the body. That's the key. Beck don't like it in the body. He complains every time David hit in the body.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Beck don't like it to the body. The great Ronnie Shields, you know, is seeing exactly what I saw. A lot of body punches do not like the body. And I think that's exactly what Stevens has found out and should continue doing.
This is a good round, though, for Melikuziev. He's the one walking forward. Ronnie Shields said, that needs to be us. Stevens needs to go get him. Like right now. There he is again complaining about a body shot.
And here's the thing, that I don't think Melikuziev is a dirty fighter. I just think he's an overly aggressive, rough fighter. You know, there's times where they clash heads and he leads with his head. But a lot of fighters, you know, a lot of great fighters led with their head. I mean, it wasn't something that was frowned upon. I mean, Evander Holyfield, one of them. Tim Bradley was another one. I mean, these are great fighters that were able to do that without being cheaters.
We gave you a look at Floyd Schofield a few moments ago. Now let's look at his opponents. Hiro and Sergio, or Chris rather, what kind of problems do you expect him to pose tonight?
I think Giron can pose a lot of problems. I was in Southern California when he knocked out Carlos Balderas. He put a beating on Balderas, who at that time was a pretty good prospect. He's had some issues over the last few years, including weight issues going into fights, but he is riding a 3-fight winning streak, and in 2 of those fights he was the underdog coming in, so he is comfortable in this type of situation. I think you're going to get the very best from Giron. I think that's going to make this a very compelling fight.
Over or under, Chris?
I'm done picking over-unders.
So am I. Let's just enjoy the show. That's going to be a great main event, and I agree with you, Chris. Giron is a live underdog in that one.
And Stevens a live underdog in this one.
Sergio, I think Stevens has really got to find a second gear. This is his moment right now. This is his chance to beat an established name, a prospect, to move up the ranking. This is his chance to get back everything he lost in that fight he was stopped in.
And that key is digging down to the body with both hands, and he's doing it every time he gets on the inside and they break that range. He's ignoring the head. He's just digging down on the ribs of Melikuziev, and that's the right thing to do with a fighter that's tiring out.
Watch out. Watch out.
Body shot there, right? Back the bully. And look, back comes. Anytime Stevens gets hit with a body shot, he comes back and goes straight to the body.
They're both digging deep on the inside. A grinding affair in this super middleweight showdown.
There's that uppercut I wanted from Stevens. I think there's an opening for an uppercut, a right uppercut for David Stevens, because look at how Melikuziev squares up because he's so tired, and a square target is a bigger target for the uppercuts.
Stevens has stopped 6 of his last 9 opponents, including Sean Hemphill, which he did with just 10 seconds remaining, rather 2 seconds remaining in that fight. So he does have that late drama appeal. Nice shot there from Melikuziev. I feel like either one of these guys could still be stopped.
Those left hands aren't as powerful as they were earlier in the fight, though. So I think it's not that Stevens is allowing, himself to get hit with those shots. He's just not. He's not respecting those looping shots of Melikuziev. Now,
there's one.
Not moving his head anymore. Stevens is biding his time, looking for a big shot right down the pipe.
Blood continuing to pour out of that cut over the left eye of Bektemir. Good moment in the round here for Stevens.
Stevens wants to bank these rounds, to win these rounds, because when you get to that 11th round, the 12th round, there is going to be a surge of adrenaline that goes through Beck. It's probably going to carry him into those final minutes.
Beck walks right into a shot and then landed on the left hand of his own. Caught him again. Things are heating up here in Las Vegas in our co-main event.
Come on, bully. Come on, bully. Yeah, wake up, bully. Championship rounds, championship rounds. Come on. Championship rounds. Come on, jab. You gotta be busy with the jab. Busy with the jab. Champ. How you feel? How you feel? Okay, let's go. Champ. Jab, jab.
Oh, this is another really back and forth round where Stevens had his moments with straight shots and the bully coming with the looping shots and closing out that round. That was, both fighters had their moments. Who do you give it to? I don't know, but there's concern in the corner of Melikuziev, and Beck the bully breathing hard in that stool.
I mean, he's getting the double Diaz treatment there in the corner, just getting screened. It's not tactics that they're talking with him right now. It's about energy. It's about getting him going. He said, wake up, bully, wake up.
Yeah, not a lot of X's and O's in the corner. It's just motivational speech.
Sometimes that's all you need just to get you past those championship rounds. You don't need X's and O's anymore. You just need a cheerleader. You know, that Angelo Dundee moment. You know, someone just to get that adrenaline up and close out strong.
For what it's worth, Bektemir's face has never looked like this in a fight. Nose swollen, cut up, blood coming out of his mouth. But he's still probably winning the fight. We're in round 10, scheduled for 12. Stevens says this, I'm not in this game for the money. I'm in it to become the best. And believes with a win here over Melikuziev, he'll get a chance at a world title. But he might need to win the remaining 3 rounds to do it.
Melikuziev led in with a nice uppercut, lead left uppercut. Very dangerous punch to throw, you know, being the first punch out there, but it landed, and it did. That's the punch I want to see more of, but set it up behind more combinations. Don't lead with it.
You know, Stevens, I don't think, can wait on Melikuziev. He doesn't want this fight kind of stationary in the middle of the ring. He wants to be doing exactly what we're seeing right now. Front foot, move forward, back up.
Well, in order to back him up, you got to slow back down, and you do that with coming forward behind the jab, doubling and tripling up the jabs. That way you can lead with that right hand afterwards.
Bektemir does not watch video of his opponents, leaves that to the trainers. So he had no idea what Stevens even looked like coming into this fight.
More than that, Todd, one thing we love about Beck and a lot of these Uzbeki fighters is that they take on anyone. Doesn't matter what the purse is, doesn't matter what's on the line. They just want to fight and prove themselves at a high level. Sometimes you can get overconfident in those situations. As I mentioned, Beck had a really short camp for this fight. He was contracted at 170 pounds, not 168. So maybe he didn't expect this type of opponent in this type of fight.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. I could see that because it's a much rougher and tougher fight than he expected, even though he is.
Good left hand from Bektemir. He caught him again.
Even though he is in control, landing big shots like that, winning the fight, I mean, it's still taking a physical toll on the bully.
Hey, get the tape on his gloves. Get the tape on his glove.
And there you see the ratings in the super middleweight division, stacked division. Canelo Alvarez clearly right there at the top. But you've got talent all the way down that 5 to 8 range. Edgar Berlanga we just saw back in action. Also the Iglesias, tremendous fighter. A guy that's going to be avoided, I think, for some time. And then there at the top, Christian Mbili, Jaime Munguia. Decent chance we get to see those two in action against each other in 2025. And then there is my man, William Skull. Who is going to get that William Skull lottery ticket? Who is going to pay William Skull for the right to fight for that IBF title?
Hey, I want to see Berlanga Munguia. That's the fight to make in this division for me.
I think that's the main one everyone wants to see.
Turns out. Stay there. Go back
Diego Pacheco in the mix. Oh, yeah, man, that's a loaded division. A lot of exciting fights.
That can be made for sure, including this one. It's been good. 2 rounds left. We're in the championship rounds.
And you can't understate the importance of this fight for Bektemir Melikuziev because he's already had to bounce back from one loss against Gabe Rosado. He's back in the top 10 in the WBA rankings. Another loss would drop him right back out and force him to rebuild once again.
Well, Sergio, I'm sure you agree, Stephens has to win these last 2 rounds.
Absolutely. Even though he did better than I thought he was going to do and he's exceeded expectations, if he's here to win, he has to get the attention and hurt Melikuziev, and he has to win big.
He does really well on the inside. Melikuziev decides to rest. As Chris Mannix mentioned, Stephens decides to pick up the pace.
Watch your head.
You know, neither of these guys have doubled up on one side. I think that's actually worked against them. It's been detrimental. You know, they've been dancing a bloody ballet, going back and forth, left for right, right for left. But doubling up shots actually brings that momentum. Stephens, if he could throw 2 shots to the body, or 2 shots upstairs with the same hand, that would break the monotony, and that would open up some more shots.
Okay, let's go. Soft on it, okay?
For what it's worth, Melikuziev was fighting with his mouth open about 5 rounds ago. We thought he was going to be tired, but Sergio, he has answered the call.
Yes, he has. And he's done it even though he's tired, with footwork, with angles. We're not giving Stephens a chance to get on the inside and stay on the inside, and angles like that, pivoting away. Actually using the southpaw advantage, angles to his advantage.
The 1s and 2s. Boxing basics.
You know, if Stephens winds up losing this fight, he's going to look back and see a lot of missed opportunities between rounds 6 and 10.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look, there's nothing to be ashamed of in this loss, but he needed to win. He needed to do something really special, and he almost had it there. But credit to Melikuziev, just showing courage, showing conditioning, showing a lot of things, a lot of heart. And following the game plan, still using the angles, still keeping his range and distance.
I wonder what the corner advice is going to be for Stephens. You heard him tell Chris Mannix earlier, Ronnie Shields, that he thought his fighter was winning. Is he going to tell him he needs a knockout now?
Hey, get there.
All right, son, look. Listen to me. Give it to me. Listen to me. This is the last round, okay?
Last round. Touch gloves. Last round.
Give me a drink. David, I need your hands to your chest, and I need to let him work. Let him go. I need the whole round, okay? Look, David, understand something. He's just as tired as you are. You understand? Don't let him sit out there and box you, all right? I need that pressure. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Both hands going, all right? I need both hands going like you never had them going before. You got to show me you want this. Wipe his nose. Okay? I need you to go. I need both hands going. I'll do it. Okay? All right. Let's go.
You ain't hit him with yours yet.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. The 12th and final round.
That was the corner advice for Stephens. It seems like if Melikuziev makes it to the end of this round, he wins it.
But a knockdown will make things interesting for Stevens.
Let's take a look at Chris Mannix's scorecard.
Yeah, I've got Bektemir Melikuziev up 107-102, really sweeping the rounds since that 8 rounds. They have been sloppy, but I think Beck's left hands have been the cleaner shots, been landing them with more frequency. I heard Ronnie Shield, that's the closest you're going to get to Ronnie saying you got to pick up a knockout. He wants both hands going, and when there's a knockdown or a knockout, he knows that David Stevens has to do something special here.
Yeah, but it's hard to get your two hands going in combinations whenever your opponent's not staying in front of you. It's easy for a stationary target, but not a mover like this, especially a southpaw, and someone sniping you with that 1-2 from outside and then pivoting away. It's very hard to get your combinations going. I think that's the frustration that David Stevens is experiencing.
Hands free, hands free.
Either way, a good effort from David Stevens, who didn't seem to be intimidated in the least, won a few rounds, beat the bully up at times, has blood coming out of his face. Melikuziev still throwing home run shots. Good right hand.
And believe it or not, that's what you could use against him. When he's opening up like that with those home run shots, that's when you gotta throw caution to the wind if you're Stevens and punch with Melikuziev. That's your opportunity to do something special.
Another left from Melikuziev.
Step back, no punches.
You talk about young fighters needing rounds to get better, Sergio. I feel like this fight for Melikuziev is going to pay big dividends going down the line.
It's going to pay big dividends, but I'll tell you what, it's a physical fight. He's going to need a break.
Yeah.
I mean, he just came back from vacation. He's going to need another one.
He'll need a break, but I think the lesson to take away, if Beck comes out on the winning side of this, is, hey, we've got to plan out a little bit more. We can't just accept any fight that's out there. We can't have abbreviated training camp. We're not that good. Like, we're a good fighter, but we need a full 8-week camp in order to take on, high-level opponents.
20 seconds left in this co-main event. Here they go. You know they're going to slug it out. Stevens just said, come on, come on. But Bektemir's done the yeoman's work here in the 12th. And he has sealed the deal. Even the referee with a round of applause for these two super middleweights.
He may not look like it, but that's the winner right there. That bloody, bruised, and battered man, Bektemir Melikuziev. I mean, that's the thing about boxing. Look at the face of David Stevens. I mean,
we're gonna see that.
He's not even breathing hard, even though we know he is tired. He's not bleeding. He's not bloody. He's not bumped up. But he's definitely the one that got the short end of the stick offensively in this fight.
On December 21st, the spotlight falls in the heavyweight division again. Usyk Fury 2, live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We fire it up again. Tyson Fury promising that he will knock Usyk out. Usyk saying this fight will be easier for me than the first one. And this fight was, I think, much more difficult than Melikuziev's team thought. They didn't seem to be bothered at all by Stevens in the interview room yesterday, did they?
No, they did not. I think there was a lack of respect on the side of Stevens, and I think that changed tonight. But, I don't want to see Melikuziev in too many of these physically challenging fights, especially against fighters like David Stevens. And in championship fights, yeah, it's all for it. You got to give it everything you have. But right here, you need to step back and realize, hey, man, I'm getting in too many grueling fights, too many cuts, fight after fight. So Melikuziev really needs to go back and really think his fighting career out, and how is he going to be able to climb the rankings without being such a physical fight.
You look at both these corners, and neither one of them seems too happy with the way this fight ended.
Joe Martinez has the scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 exciting rounds of action, we go to the scorecards one more time, Las Vegas, for these two fighters inside the ring. Show your appreciation out there. And here are the judges' scoring totals. Chris Migliori scores it 116-112 for Stevens. Judge Dave Moretti, 118-110 Melikuziev. And Judge Zachary Young has it 117-111. Your winner by split decision, Bek the Bully Melikuziev.
Well, a split decision win for Bektemir Melikuziev.
I don't know, 116-112 for Stevens, implies 8-4 for Stevens. I don't know how you can see that. Like, there were a couple of swing rounds in there, but I thought the bulk of the good work was done by Bektemir Melikuziev. 18-10, 17-11. That was more in line with my score.